Hello, good afternoon, good evening. It's 3 p.m. in sunny El Salvador, and it's 10 p.m. in UK London. I'm just going to check to make sure my sound is okay, because last time I was streaming, there was a little bit of a robot. I'll make sure I'm not roboting again. So let me just check that on my phone while I'm here. Is that the live? Live, that's live. Let me see. Yeah, that's perfect. That works. All right. So what are we going to look at today? Well, let's have a look at Bitcoin. We'll have a look at TRVL. We'll have a look at alt season as well. Those kind of three things I want to look at. As you can see, sorry, I'm on the wrong chart right now. Let me go into the correct chart. So what's going on with Bitcoin? What's happening with Bitcoin? Let's have a look at Bitcoin. And let's go straight in. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first have a look at these daily candles, right? So yesterday we had, it's not a bad candle actually. It was a close higher than the previous day low. And as you can see today, the price has gone up all the way up to the previous day high. We've taken out the previous day high. And so we got a little bit of a range bound candle. It looked pretty bearish, but actually this is not so bearish for me. This doesn't look so bearish. Let's have a look at the weekly candle. And as you can see with the weekly candle, this is looking pretty good because we had a lower close last week. It was pretty bearish. And then today, this week, we've gone up all the way to the top of the previous week high. And we sold into that. And we're kind of holding somewhere in the middle. So I think what I want to see on Bitcoin is a close above the previous week 50 fib. This is, for me, that's really quite important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that out. Let me get rid of these volume levels now and redraw those in a second. And in fact, what I do is I look at the body of the previous week. And do a full fib on that. And what I'm looking for this week is a close above 110,832 on Bybit USD, Bybit perpetuals. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And that for me would be a piercing candle. That's what I want to see, a piercing candle. I think that would be a bullish reversal potential. Piercing candle. The next week would have to be green too. So I'm going to mark that out, 110832. Okay, and get rid of that. Add a weekly close above this level, please. Okay. Let's see what that looks like on the lower time frame charts. So that's the weekly, previous weekly body 50 fib. But look at, we've already found support. You see that? We've already found support there. So you see right now that level is acting as support. We just need to close above that level, which is the previous week 50 fib of the body of the previous week, not the wick to wick, the body. Okay. So that's really important. That's a really important close for this week. And you see it has acted as support there as well in the past. So it is a relevant level. And when you see levels like that respected, then you have to take note. You have to pay attention. If we can get a close above that level, then I would consider this week as a piercing candle, which is a bullish, it's a reversal. And then next week would have to be green as well. We'd have to have a follow through with another green candle next week. And so we'd still have a week of chop potentially, or it could expand to the upside. Either way, that's what you want to see. And also if that happens, and this week is a green week, which is good because that green week gives us this new weekly level. So let me just bring my levels in. I'll go to the daily chart. That one is washed. Get rid of that. Get rid of these wash levels. This is a new daily level there. So let me mark that out. Daily, 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 daily. Monthly, is the monthly still there? Yep, the monthly's still there. The weeklies, one weekly there, and then we got a new weekly here. So actually what you end up with is a really strong level where you have a weekly and a daily on the same place effectively. It's a really strong, becomes a really strong liquidity level. And so potentially you could go down, if the price needs to, it could go down for liquidity, capture liquidity, and then hopefully go up, assuming that we close above this weekly level. This level that I've marked out now. Let me update my volume levels. I'm going to do a local volume. That's not going to change because it's a higher range. Let's go for the higher range volume. What is that rubbish? Value area low is a little bit lower. Point of control, value area high, no real changes. Okay, so we have our volume right now. And what else do we want to have a look at? Probably single prints. Did I have that? Where's my single prints folder? Can't see. There it is. So we have single prints there above us. And then we have the naked points of control. So we still have the strong resistance area. That's going to be a real test when, if and when the price goes up. Nope. See, I had it going lower and it hasn't gone down that far. And I actually think that's the short, huh? That's the real big short. That still applies. You've got a shit ton of liquidity there. You've got a lot of people shorting that level. Because that will come into the golden pocket as well. So you have a really strong short area here. And that was my Friday analysis. And that is obviously, at the moment, it's very far from potentially having, probably not, because I think possibly, depending on how we close on the weekly chart, we'll probably go up to clear that liquidity that's higher up above us. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Depending on how we close, I don't see why we don't go up to take that liquidity. And I don't know if we go down to go up or if we go up to go down first. And then the other thing I want to have a look at here is the CME gap. So it closed at 112,060. 112,060. So we have a little bit of a gap above us as well. See that? There you go. So there is a I mean, the price could go up, fill the gap, go down, capture the liquidity. Let's get rid of this. If we close above this weekly close, go up, fill the gap, go all the way down, bam, capture the liquidity for and then pump. 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 Kind of something like that would be interesting to see. Go up, fill the gap, go all the way down, capture liquidity, bam, 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 and then hold support for a higher low here, and then really nice pump. Assuming the assumption here is that the weekly close is higher than that level that I've indicated. It's kind of where I'm at right now. So whether it does or not, it's irrelevant. The idea is a long. I think you kind of want it to hit, even though the golden pocket could also hit, always hit and go up. And you could clear the liquidity at these for a swing failure here. You want a swing failure for sure. You want to take that level. I don't know how this is going to play out, but you want an invalidation. It could go down or whatever, or it could just hold. Just a swing failure could be enough. And then you kind of want it to go basically all the way to those highs, to take those highs out. And then again, you're in got a short there. Whatever. Something like that. Who knows? Maybe to the breakout level, whatever. Wherever there's a little breakout initially, and then afterwards you have to see. So effectively, that's what you're looking at. And obviously the CME gap is there, and it's always possible to have a little sell-off at the CME gap. Like that. It's kind of what I'm thinking right now. That's assuming we go down to take that liquidity. Of course, the price could go up and whatever, but I don't see why not. I don't see why we don't go down to clear that liquidity, to go up, to hit that liquidity higher up, and then we have to see what happens next. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now with this. Just looking at the charts quickly. Sunday analysis, really quick analysis for BTC today. And so that kind of gives me an idea that maybe we go down and up, and then that'll be a real nice pump, and then everyone's going to get bullish for a lower high, and then maybe we reject again. So we have to see how that plays out on everything else. And then, you know, it's always possible to V-shape recovery. Yeah, it's always possible from here, however this plays out, to trap short, not trap shorts, but squeeze shorts, because there's so much liquidity, and it depends. It depends on how the market responds to this move. Yeah, in the upwards direction. We have to see how that plays out. But there are single prints, and they can fill very quickly. And if they do fill very quickly, you could end up with a V-shaped recovery, taking out the all-time high again. It's possible. And you know, based on this, if that was to happen, you could end up with an inverse head and shoulders. You know, because you could end up down, and then, you know, you could end up with something crazy like that, and then the whole market will get bullish. They'll be looking at that and going, shit, there's an inverse head and shoulders forming at all-time highs. Could we get a breakout to 130k? So that's kind of like, it's future ideas. Who knows what's going to happen? But you just take it step by step. First instance is the CME gap, then it's this liquidity lower down, and then it's rallying to that liquidity, and then seeing how the price behaves. While I'm here, I'm going to have a look at the order flow on XO charts as well. I can't see any bearish divergences at the moment. And clearly there was bullish divergences. Look, here it's the 7th of September. Here at 10 a.m. there was bullish divergences. You see the CVD is going down. The price isn't going down, it's going sideways. So you're getting quite heavy accumulation here on this local range. And so we have to see how that's actually quite bullish. It's really bullish to see that. So I'm feeling quite bullish. We're up above the VWAP, we're above the D open, it's going sideways, we're getting bullish CVD. I'm feeling quite bullish, and let's see how the weekly time frame close happens, and that's be analyzing that on Tuesday, reanalyzing that on Tuesday. So that's kind of my Bitcoin stream for today, and let's see what happens with Bitcoin. How does that reflect in alt season? Because everyone's interested about alt season and ETH. I don't mind ETH's close, actually. If we can close above the previous week low, I don't mind it, huh? It's always okay to take the liquidity from a previous week low and then close above it. I think that's okay. So it is possible to see a little consolidation, weekly consolidation reversal here. Whereas ETH BTC, on the other hand, looks much worse. You see that? So ETH BTC is pulling back while ETH is okay. So the value is going back into BTC. So I wonder if we do get like a pullback on ETH BTC, continuous pullback, while BTC kind of grinds up until ETH BTC finally comes back into some meaningful support. It's decreasing volume on this as the price tapers off. And we're losing the point of control, which is in the high of this kind of area of interest. So yeah, it doesn't look great, does it? So ETH BTC doesn't look great. So the value's going into BTC, but BTC going up is pulling up the rest of the market naturally. And that is what matters now. So right now, ETH is holding BTC high. And we have to see how that plays out, okay? How does that reflect on some of these other tokens? Well, like ENA is having a really strong bullish engulfing week. Yeah, Solana's looking okay with a piercing candle there. Let's quickly have a look at QANX. So QANX had a little bit of sell-off, took the liquidities from the low, which I indicated before, and it looks like we're getting a little reaction there, but the volume is decreasing, so we have to see how that plays out. Let's have a look at these other ones. No, not interested. Yeah, all right, and then I'm going to do TRVL now. That's kind of coming into a real important support zone. Looks like we're losing that trend line, actually, so that's quite interesting. We have to see how that plays out. So that's kind of Bitcoin and ETH and alt season. I'm going to go straight